this is what you're going to see here in a second with Alejandro's demo, but EMAT, again, state online ordering system. In December, LEAs began being able to see their new funding entitlements at 40 and 20. You can see kind of the breakout of what an LEA sees there on the right. And then we're gonna double click on this after Alejandro's presentation, but I think this context is helpful before he jumps in. For Bluebonnet Learning, for your first year ordering requirements, an initial purchase of Bluebonnet Learning instruction materials must include all components of the product. After all components have been initially purchased, an LEA may purchase individual components. It's important to note there that the teacher and student program must be purchased together. We're going to talk about an exemption form for a few pieces after Alejandro's presentation. But now I'm going to pass it over to Alejandro, and I will stop sharing my screen.
Good morning again, everyone. Hopefully you can see we kind of have an example district here in EMAT. This is what any district or charter will see when they log into EMAT. It's what we refer to as their start page. You'll see that table that Megan had on the slide that provides a kind of a brief overview of your instructional materials funding situation. And you'll see the IMTA and those two entitlement funds. But what we want to show you is how can you order Bluebonnet Learning materials in EMAT. So if you look underneath this table, you'll have another table that's called an EMAT requisition list, where you can submit those types of orders that Megan gave a quick overview of: program requisition, component requisition. But today we want to use this new specific link that's been there for a while, but it is now live. And it says Bluebonnet requisition. So to start working on that type of order, you'll just click, it says create new requisition. So I'll go ahead and do that. And I got logged out of EMAT. So let me do that as a fix real quick. So I'll click that link. Let's see if it works this time. And it does. So when you click create new requisition, you'll see that you're on a Bluebonnet requisition. If you notice at the top, it may still say program requisition. That's because you are ordering the full Bluebonnet Learning program, not those components, as Megan had mentioned. It starts on this summary tab, which kind of just gives you an overview of the order. But to do what you're needing to do as a district or charter, you'll click on this tab to the right that says program requisition. And you'll see some rows, and this is where you'll do the ordering, and you'll probably end up with a whole bunch of rows, but we can walk through one at first. So the thing to remember is that EMAT wants to work in a very particular way. So I know you probably have the ISBN that you're wanting. You want to go type it directly in. But what EMAT wants you to do is work from left to right through those columns, starting with the grade level. I think that one's self-explanatory. So for this example, I'll just start at kindergarten, and we can try if we were going to do a full K through 5 order. And we can get more specific with this next column, and it may be something that's less self-explanatory. It says MLC, that's multiple list code. And what that is kind of a 4-digit number in EMAT that represents a specific course. And it'll be limited to MLCs that are available from the grade level that you selected. So this was a drop-down menu for grade level. We want to do what EMAT offers, so that's why we use that. In this field, it has a little magnifying glass, and you'll see that a lot in EMAT. So if you ever see that, you want to click it, and it will take you to kind of the search function to make a selection in that particular field. So it'll give you all the MLCs or the specific courses that are available for that grade level. So for Bluebonnet Learning, you know that there will be ELAR, phonics, or there'll be mathematics materials. So if you select any one of those 3 MLCs, you'll find the product offering from Bluebonnet Learning that you can order. If you select any other MLC, there won't be any options available. But just to kind of give you an idea of what that looks like, let's go ahead and click mathematics. And if you move to the next field that says ISBN, here's where we'll select the specific product that you want to add to your order. Again, you'll want to use this magnifying glass icon, and you'll get another pop-up box. And this is the exact screenshot that we saw on that slide a bit ago that Megan walked us through. And you'll see these offerings. They're all titled Bluebonnet Learning. You want to look through them closely, you as a district get to make a decision as to the print vendor that you'll be able to use. And that print provider's name will be listed in the title, and there'll also be a column at the end. So I imagine as a district, you'll want to be consistent. So just keep that in mind as you add rows through your order. But you'll see that there's separate ISBNs or programs for either a teacher program or for the student program. And the title is trying to be clear, and it tells you at the end as well that if you're adding the teacher program, you'll probably need to add the student program separately. So we'll do that, and we'll add those two lines, one for the teacher program and one for the student program. And another thing to keep in mind, at least for mathematics, is that you'll notice there's two teacher programs listed. And you may ask yourself, what is the difference? But we tried to capture that in the title as well of this program. And you'll see that one program says it includes a class manipulative kit, while the other program does not. So for this example, I'll go ahead and click the program that includes a class manipulative kit. It populates that whole title there. It shows me what the price is for that program on this column to the right that says standard price. And you'll have an extended amount, and that's currently 0 because we haven't added any quantities to the order. So where you'll list how many of these teacher programs you're actually needing is in this teacher rec quantity field. So for this example, we'll pretend we're 2 of the programs, and if each teacher program is intended for 24 students, then on our next line, we'll add 48 of the student program. But let me go ahead and type in those numbers. So if I add a 2 here, and I tab to the next field, or you're to click enter, you'll see some of that math has started to happen for you, and that'll all happen automatically in EMAT. So if I'm ordering a quantity of 2, it's taken 2 and multiplied it by that standard price of $9.33, and it's let me know that this one line on my order will total just over $1,800. Where you'll also want to keep an eye is above this row where you'll be adding all the items that you're ordering, is there's kind of those 3 rows from the table on your EMAT start page. It starts from the top with the IMTA, and then it gets into what Megan said we'll call the $40 entitlement. And at the bottom, it has the $20 entitlement. And you'll notice that this $1,800 expense, it didn't get deducted from the IMTA. It wasn't deducted from the $40. It starts from the most restrictive funding source. There's nothing that you'll need to do on your own. EMAT will handle all of that, those calculations for you. So as we add items to this order, also keep an eye to see that once I exhaust my $20 entitlement amount, it'll start pulling from the $40. I think we'll get there on this example, but eventually it would move to the IMTA, but maybe that'll make sense if we add some more items. So let me do that. I'll follow those same steps that we walked through. I'm going to work left to right, use whatever kind of search or selection option EMAT provides to me. So I'm still on kindergarten. I'm still doing mathematics, so I'll look for this MLC. And I'm going to pick an ISBN, and it's going to offer me those same options that it did before, but I know that I've added the teacher program. So my next step would be to add the student program. Again, you'll find a price. So the student program is $23 per quantity ordered. It currently says $0 for this line because I haven't added a quantity. So for the example, we said that each teacher program is intended for 24 students. So just to be precise on that, if I'm ordering 2, I'll go ahead and add 48 on this line of the student programs for kindergarten math that I want. I'll tab out, and you'll see it gave me $1,000, about $1,100 for this PO line. And it said, I'm now spending a total of $2,970, and it's still only pulling from the $20 entitlement. And I have about $8,100 remaining. So another field that you might notice we left blank is this column that says student population for order. That's just kind of an EMAT field. But what it is it's only going to show on the lines with teacher programs. And it's telling you, it's just a question. It won't affect the pricing. It's saying how many students will be served by these materials. And almost every time that will match what you end up putting on the row with the student program itself. So I'll just add 48. And if I tab out, you'll notice the price didn't change. It's just you kind of offering additional information saying, I'm ordering 2 teacher programs. They teach 48 students. but I'll try to go a bit quicker because I know there's a lot we have to get through in this presentation. So I'll click, I'm selecting grade level, I'm selecting MLC, I'm adding ISBNs, and I selected the wrong one. And you saw that there were no ISBNs offered. But now that I'm on mathematics, I have those Bluebonnet learning offerings that are available. I'll select the class manipulative or with manipulative kit again, and we'll just stay consistent with that. Two teachers, and we'll get the student programs on there as well. Same MLC, add the student program. And this is the quick clicking, I know, but we're recording this and I can slow down too, because I'm sure there will be questions, but this is just to show you what you'll be doing. I didn't this, but hopefully you saw it. To add rows, you do press the plus button, and that'll give you a new row to work with. And say you messed up or you want to delete a line, you'll use the minus button and it'll take it off of there for you. I'll ask Megan if she wants me to keep working through this example for time, but the last kind of reminders I would give as anyone's assisting districts or you're submitting an order yourself is that you always kind of want to click that save button. Kind of a perfect example to start with. You saw I got kicked off of EMAT and I was ready to go for this. So you never know what the ordering system's going to do. So please do be sure to save your work as you're going along. After every line is probably your best bet. It doesn't take too much effort. Just kind of scroll up, move your mouse and click save. And what you'll notice is every transaction in EMAT has its own kind of identifying number, and it just says next on this requisition. And that's because I haven't saved it. Once I click save work, don't know what happened there, but once you click save, it should populate a number for you in that field. And that way, if you were to go back to your start page on that requisition list, there would be a line with that transaction that you've created, and you can go back and either work on it later or eventually get to submitting it. So that's kind of the quick demo on what you'll be doing. And I'll check with Megan. Do you want to return to it and then we can come back to a demo or keep working through? What are your thoughts?
I don't see any question. Oh, I do see two Q&A questions. Let me look at those real quick.
Okay.
I did have one person reach out to me directly. If you could talk through how do ESCs or can ESCs get access to EMAT?
Yes, we can share on the instructional materials help desk. There's an FAQ with instructions on how to submit that. And it boils down to you need a Teal account, and EMAT is an application accessed through Teal. So you can submit a request for EMAT access. The considerations are if you work with an ESC, there's a specific role that you request, and it's ESC viewer access. And if you request that role, you'll have EMAT access. And instead of just accessing one district, you'll actually be unique and have kind of a drop-down menu on the start page, and you'll be able to view the EMAT page for all of the districts that belong to your ESC region. The thing to keep in mind there is we did say viewer access. So you'd be able to view anything in EMAT, but that's different from ordering access. So you wouldn't be able to an order, but you could review maybe what a district's done if they want you to take a look at it. And it's still something that's very helpful. If you wanted to be able to place orders and assist districts directly in that way, you'll request EMAT ordering access, and it'll be directly for that district. Your Teal request will go to whoever's set up as the Teal approver or superintendent for that district in Teal. They'll approve your request. It'll come to us, and we'll add you as a listed contact for that district, and you would be able to place orders. That's just something, of course, maybe have the conversation with the district beforehand, because your request for EMAT access will go to the superintendent, and you just want to make sure that they're aware of that before we add you as a user into EMAT. Was there another question, Megan, that you wanted to try to respond to?
There's a question in the Q&A. If there are only 30 students in the class, do you have to put 48 in the student program, or do you put the actual student count?
No, be sure to put the actual student count. And what we tried to call out was whatever you enter as the requested quantity on that row with the student program, that is both the quantity that you'll receive, but it's also, when we do the math, that's the quantity that you're paying for. So you want to not, or you want to use these funds the best that you can and take them as far as you can. So if you're only serving 30 students, I don't know that you would want to request 48 as a quantity of that. That's a district decision. But you don't have to put any specific number. Ordering 2 teacher programs doesn't dictate that you have to order 48 student programs. This is an open field. Put the actual quantity that you need. And for that example, in that question, I'll change this 48 to 30. And if I tab out, you'll see this price should decrease and it went down to 690. So do be sure to order the quantities that you're actually needing.
And then we have a comment in the chat real quick to repeat how to request viewer access.
If we could get a specific email of that user, we can send very targeted instructions on how to do that. They would just require a lot more clicking and I'd go into Teal, but it's not difficult, especially if we provide you instructions with screenshots. I'll assist you with that. So please be sure to put your email either in the chat or message it to Megan if that was a direct question, and we can get that information to you.
And we might be able to send that to the whole group, since I'm getting a few direct
Yeah,
direct
not a problem either.
Perfect. Okay. Any other EMAT questions while Alejandro is sharing his screen?
So if you were on your start page, we largely focused on this table that was the EMAT requisition list. Next to that table, you'll see something that's called the AIM requisition list, AIM being accessible instructional materials. So depending upon the format that you're needing, whether it's audio, braille, or large print, you'll select that same link, just like we did for the Bluebonnet requisition. You'll click create new requisition and you'll be able to look for the materials there. It's a bit different in that screen. We'll see if it loads. But rather than you just adding lines and selecting grade level and selecting MLC, it's formatted a bit differently in that it has all these tabs that you can go through for the specific grade level, or when you get to high school, kind of the broader subject area that you're looking for. And then those MLCs will be directly listed there. So it's just the way that EMAT is constructed and was built. So you'll need to know what these MLCs are. And we have a web page that kind of offers a key, and I can put that in the chat to what every MLC stands for. But we were doing first grade math, I think, where we left off on that example we had. So if you came here, you would click the magnifying glass and look for the appropriate item there. And then you would add the student quantity in this column, and then the same tips apply of be sure to save work. And eventually you'll come back to the summary tab. And that's what you'll need to do on the Bluebonnet requisition as well to finally be able to click submit. So the thing to keep in mind too, once you submit or if you just click save, if a requisition just says in progress, it is in the district queue. So it's not in the submitted queue for TEA to review and eventually approve. So if you're assisting a district or you're placing an order yourself, keep in mind what the status is for that order. If it's in progress, we probably haven't looked at it, or we've reopened it, sent an email to the person that submitted it asking a question or seeking some sort of update. You want to make sure it says submitted. That means that it's in our queue to look at. And only once it says complete, does that mean it's been approved, it's sourced to your print vendor, and they're working on your order. So just another friendly tip. But for AIM materials, go to this AIM requisition list and find the format you're needing, and that's where you'll be able to place those types of orders.